The next show we're going to be talking about is Kino's Journey, The Beautiful World, the animated series.
Yes. Have you watched on this one?
Yes.
Okay.
I am 3 episodes in, I think.
You're gonna. This is one you're gonna keep, isn't it?
So, because I really like... Okay, this one depends on you again. If you watch it all, then I gotta watch it all, because I kind of don't want to be spoiled. But ideally, I would like to watch the first series and then come back to this one. But it doesn't... You don't have to do that, because everything's like episodic. So, it's kind of one of them things where it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, but you could tell because you didn't watch the original one, and when I was telling you about this one, now you know why I said this is a really, really good series.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was even telling about this one, saying to me it's almost like watching Doctor Who, kind of. Mm-hmm. Because he's traveling to, for him, for Doctor Who is like traveling to different worlds or meeting different people and whatnot. But in this one, he's driving to different states, different cities, but it's still kind of the same realm, I kind of think, like, because he kind of helps things along. He kind of fixes things, or he does things in such a way. I know he's not like completely. And then it's the same with Doctor Who. He didn't always like fix things. He more or less just took care of a problem as it was when he was there, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's the same realm. And each of these cities he's going into are completely different from each other. And it's always interesting to see. It's like the cities themselves are almost characters onto themselves.
Yeah.
Which is interesting for me. I'm like, okay, what is this city? What is it? What is their thing? What is it that they do? And you don't always expect. It's the twists that sometimes that you don't always see and expect. And you're like, oh, wow, that's like completely... like the city where people were murdered. How did they put it? There's a specific way they put it, and it wasn't until you thought about it that you're like, oh, that's what they were meaning about that.
Yeah.
Because it almost made it seem like they were like, oh, you can kill anybody you want. It's like, no, not quite.
Yeah.
Not quite. Because it ended up being where it's a city of people who have kill, essentially, where it's no one balks at it, but they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But if someone comes along causing trouble, then everyone descends on that person to take care of business. They want to keep their town peaceful, but that's why I think they were willing to say to want Kino to stay there, because they recognize the fact that he is that type of person who can do that. Yeah. And who isn't wanting to actually instigate that to begin with. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it's so very interesting to see the different places he goes, the problems he comes across, and how he handles them and what comes of it are all just like I think this show was very aptly named when they say Kino's Journey, because it is a journey. Yeah. And you're like, you don't know what to expect. You're just like him. You don't know what to expect, but you're in it just like him, just to see what's gonna happen.
So I think like in episode 3, how there's like that giant trash can that's just like moving across the world, and they're kind of justified in what they're doing. They're like, oh, well, this is the way we live. Like, if other people get in the way, then so like too bad for them. And
but it's not like they're being purposefully like mean about it. They're just like, well, we have a direction. This is where we're going. Yeah. Someone's in the way, they're in the way, but we're not invading them. We're not purposely trying to actually take over anything. Yeah. We're just moving. That's all we're doing. Yep. Literally, that's all we're doing.
Yep. And they're like, we're going to try not to cause as much destruction as possible, but if you're in the way, you're in the way. And I was... Yeah. It's one of the things where it's like, I'm on like kind of both sides, where I'm like, but if my thing's in the way, I can't move it in like 2 hours. Like, go around. But if there's no way to go around, then I'm like, I guess I'm screwed then. Let me get my stuff out of the house, and y'all can just go by. It's one of them, like, and like even Kino's kind of like that too. Like whenever they ran into that, he was like, "Well, what's gonna happen?" They're like, "Yeah, we're just gonna keep going." And he's like, He was kind of like on the fence, where he's like, "It's kind of cool, but like kind of like jerky to be just smashing through stuff like that." Yeah. And then when they started attacking back, then he's like, "Well, not. I'ma help these guys out, because I'm kind of on this."
they were already leaving your area,
Yeah.
and you still wanted to,
Retaliate.
you were
Yeah.
attacking them. So
Yeah. So
now,
then,
before he wasn't going to help in any
yeah.
way, shape, or form because he's like, well, I don't necessarily feel right about this. I understand where you're coming from, but I don't feel right about it. But then when the people started attacking, he's like, well, they're already leaving, damage is done, and you're attacking them even though they're not doing anything further to you. So now I'll help them.
Yeah.
So it's a very, I like that though. It makes you question. You have to think about that because you feel like you're in Kino's place and you're like, what would I do?
Yeah.
Would that be the same thing I would do? Would I feel okay about that? Or would I be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So to me, this is a very, very interesting anime because when those types that actually make you think about that sort of thing, about like, do you think it's justifiable? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think, those types of things like, yeah, okay, that you have my full and undivided attention as far as what is going to happen here. Cause wow.
Yeah. And I do like how it's, not fully, predictable. Like, the one where people just had to keep fighting each other. I kind of had an idea of what he was doing. Like on day 2, he was like prepping stuff, and I'm like, I think I know what he's gonna do because he kind of slyly asked like a question real quick as he was entering the situation, and I'm like, why did he ask that? And then I'm like, because he's not gonna be he's not gonna be in the stands, so why would he have to worry about a situation like that happening? And then he just started prepping for it, and he's like, well, according to you guys' rules, this is gonna happen and this is gonna happen, and then he just leaves, and I'm like, that was amazing. So
yep, he's like, I don't agree with how you guys are doing things, and I don't like the fact that you pretty much put somebody that I knew into harm's way because of that. So I'm gonna get rid of the person who can negate this, and I'm gonna say, anyone who wants to be the next king, you have to be the last one standing.
Yeah, and with that episode, I loved that I was kind of already like guessing what was gonna happen. But then the episode after that with the trash can just like moving everywhere, I was like, what's going on? These people are weird. I don't really trust these guys. And then I'm like, I still don't really trust these guys, but I'm okay with them like being somewhere far away from me now. So this show is really, really thought provoking, just like you said. So I'm definitely gonna watch it. It depends on you. It depends on you when, because I wanna.
I'm gonna be watching this one.
Okay.
I can't stop on this one.
Okay, I'll go ahead and finish this one up.
Especially with this. So you've only watched the first like 3 episodes, right?
Yeah.
You haven't watched this last one.
Yeah.
Especially, I watched the 4th episode. How that one ends, I'm like, I can't stop. No. So pick it up. I will say. If you want to watch the first season, by all means. I don't think you necessarily need to. But I'd probably at least give you some heads up on certain things. But at the same time, I think watching this, I mean, I'll still watch the whole season, and I might go back to the first season afterwards.
Yeah, there's one thing that I was kind of wondering about. When they were talking about meeting a lady with a carriage, and like before that it was a couple, and then it was just a woman by herself.
Yeah.
Did that happen in this series and I just can't remember, or did it happen like previously?
It was the first season that happened in.
Oh, okay. See, that's one of them things where
I still think it gave you enough heads up that you got the gist of why that was important.
Okay.
Of what that was meaning, because you could tell. I don't even remember that episode myself, but it was, the fact that he said when he first met them, he met him as a couple, and then they wanted to go to the city, so he knew where they were going.
Yeah.
And then later on, though, when he met up with her, it was just her, and that's the reason why. So now he understood that. Mm-hmm. He understood what had happened. The fact that she was the only one who ended up making it out, and he ended up dying, so that way she could survive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what I'm probably gonna do is I'm probably going to just go ahead and find the first series and just watch it, just so I can get all the callbacks, and then I can continue the rest of this series like knowing all of the stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But this show's really, really great, and I definitely want to finish this like soon.
Knock on the door. Enter and say you're coming in to visit. And just because of that, because their place was a mess and they didn't want people to see their place a mess, that caused them to...
Dude's like, hey, I found this girl. Let's bring her onto the ship. And I'm like, what are you doing? She just had a knife to your throat. What? I'm like, okay. And then he doesn't tell anybody that she tried to